So welcome back, guys, to another video. And if you guys have been following my channel, you guys know I love talking about video game memories. Heck, I even made a whole playlist of video game memories. But today I wanted to talk about some of my bad video game memories. And hey, if this is your first time on the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification so you're notified on all weekly content that comes out on this channel. So before the internet, before the World Wide Web, some of our gaming news was from magazines or playground banter. That's right, we would get the 401 from our friends who ironically always had uncles that worked at Nintendo or Sega. But like a broken clock, sometimes it's right, and my friend told me about this glitch in Pokemon Red and Blue, the infamous Missing No. That's right, a secret Pokemon that if you fought it, you got 99 items that was in your 6 inventory slot. He showed it to me. It was real. I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. And I remember one of the things he told me after he showed me this glitch in the game, he says, do not catch Missing No. Honestly, challenge accepted, because Pokemon was super competitive when I was a kid. We even made our own badges that we had to give away if we were beaten in a Pokemon battle. It was pretty serious stuff. So sure enough, after getting my 99 rare candies and 99 Master Balls, I decided to catch Missing No. And I noticed from the moment I caught this Pokemon that something wasn't right. Well, when I turned the game off and turned it back on, my save data was completely wiped. 145 Pokemon out of the 151 that was in Blue and Red, completely gone. Completely gone. The months of grinding, the months of, becoming friends with people I really didn't care for because they had a link cable and I really wanted to have Gengar or wanted to have certain Pokemon that were on the other version that I didn't have, it was heart-wrenching. But it gets even worse because not only was my save data completely wiped, but the cartridge itself was completely fried. What I mean is, even if I would play the game and save, anytime I would turn the game back on, it was like the battery was dead. It would not save whatsoever. Thankfully, Walmart had a very lax return policy back then, and I was able to take my copy back and be like, oh, it doesn't work anymore, and change it out for another copy of Pokemon for the Game Boy. But it was never the same. It was never the same. Missing No just made that gaming experience go missing. And of course, if you grew up during that time, who doesn't remember the days of going to Blockbuster or any sort of rental store on a Friday night, renting that video game and enjoying that whole weekend? It was always a gamble sometimes. Sometimes the games were good, sometimes they weren't. There was one game, though, that really allured me, that really grabbed me, and I was like, man, I really need to get this game because it was always sold out every Friday night when I would go to Blockbuster. They didn't have it in stock, and of course the game I'm talking about is Mario is Missing. Now, this story here is pretty ironic because I had this novel idea that I wanted to play Mario is Missing because I really enjoyed Super Mario World, so I decided to play hooky. I decided to tell my mom one Wednesday, oh man, I'm not feeling too great, and she'd let me stay home from school, and I'd be like, oh, can I go to Blockbuster and rent a video game? And she felt bad that I felt bad, so she let me go rent a video game, and Mario is Missing was in stock. I really had to hide my excitement because, I was playing hooky and I was so excited to have Mario is Missing. But the ironic thing is, if you're familiar with Mario is Missing, is it's an educational game. I played hooky to play an educational game, and not a good one at that. I mean, Mario is Missing is a terrible game. It's like a PC education game. It's all about geography. I was gutted. I felt so bad. I felt so stupid. But hey, if you were like me and you were playing Mario is Missing expecting Super Mario World 2 and sadly mistaken, there is a ROM hack called Mario is Missing Done Right that I cannot recommend enough. That's exactly the game that I pictured in my head. Now, in the mid-90s, I was introduced to the world of anime, and my first anime I watched was actually Vampire Hunter D, and it's an amazing anime. I still watch it to this day. It's about, D, who's like this mercenary vampire hunter. He's half man, half vampire. It's so good. It's so bloody. It's so gory. And I remember Vampire Hunter D was getting its own game on the PlayStation 1. And I remember saving up the money, telling my friends, man, you got to watch Vampire Hunter D. There's new video games coming out. It's going to be freaking amazing. And I finally bought the game, and it was horrible. Vampire Hunter D on the PlayStation 1 had an identity crisis. One moment it wanted to play like Resident Evil with its tank controls, and next minute it wanted to be a hack and slash platformer. That's right, imagine playing a platformer with tank controls. It was just a broken game, and of course it was published by Jaleco. But this is before we had the Angry Video Game Nerd and you didn't know any better. But, I mean, not all Jaleco games are bad, but Vampire Hunter D definitely takes the cake on that. And, oh, man, I don't even remember what happened to my copy of Vampire Hunter D. I think I may have ended up trading it with a friend of mine. Which is a great segue to a really bad gaming memory. It was an awkward gaming memory. Because I did trade a lot of games with my friends. I borrowed a lot of games, like many, because video games are very expensive, especially when you were a kid and you really didn't have any sort of income other than, the little bit of money you made from chores or, if you got good grades and whatnot. So I had a friend who had everything. We all had those friends. We all had those friends who had every single gaming console, every single video game that you could think of. And my friend was one of those people. He had a TurboGrafx. I remember he brought in a Sega Nomad to school once and got taken away and flipped out in class. It was really awkward. But I remember he had all these consoles and games. And one day I had this epiphany. I had this idea because I had already been borrowing games from him. I already trade games with him. I'm like, man, if you have some games that you don't want, I mean, can you just give them to me? Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking, and I didn't think he would actually agree to it, but it was a shot in the dark. But guess what? He agreed. He was like, yeah, I'll just give you some games I don't want. I mean, they're taking up room anyway. And it was weeks upon weeks. He was just giving me games. It was like every day I looked forward to coming to school to see what he would give me. I mean, he gave me games like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Manhattan Project on the NES, Addams Family on the Super Nintendo, Legend of Zelda, Metroid. So many games I was introduced was from my friend just giving me these games. Well, unfortunately, the well ran dry. His mom found out. His mom found out that he was giving me all these games. And I remember I was actually sick. I'm not playing hooky. I was actually sick. I had the flu or something like that. And the teacher called my mom to, give her my homework and all that stuff, but also bring up this problem that the kid in my class, his mom was complaining that I had all of his video games. I ended up having to give all the video games back. I ended up, getting a lecture from my mom, and unfortunately, my friend that I was getting all these video games from, he thought I wasn't going to be his friend anymore. He was sad that I was going to be mad at him, and I really wasn't. I was like, man, I'm not mad at you. Here's your games. Thanks for letting me play them. Because I knew it was an outlandish idea, and I knew it was too good to be true. But anyway, guys, those are some of my bad gaming memories. Those are the ones that really stick out in my head. I'm pretty sure I have some more. I can make a part 2. But what are some of your bad video game memories? Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear some of your stories. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And as always, happy gaming.